Hey, we've made it to that part of our day where we take a look at something new in the Visual Studio IDE as manifested in the Visual C# 2010 Express Edition. Today we're going to look at defining regions to organize code and then also an easy way to implement interfaces. So this should be neat and tie into what we've already been talking about. Let's start with defining regions. All right, so yesterday we said that one of the things that we can do to help organize our code is to keep, for example, in a given code file for classes, keep all of your private fields at the very top, then followed by your public properties, then your constructors, then your public methods, and then your private methods, right? Well, one way to kind of roll things up, because, if you've got dozens or hundreds of lines of code, it can get kind of long. Not a good example here in our auto.cs class, but we can still use it to define regions. And a region is just a rolled up area that's custom defined. You give it a label, and then it's easy to roll it up, hide it, and then move on. So to do that, we're going to do this. And then down here below that section, we're going to go in region. Now you say, well, that's kind of cluttered. Why did you do that? Because now we get roll up. We have rolled up all of our private fields into one area. We've gotten them out of the way. Probably we're never even going to need to touch those again once we define them. We might. But if we want to, for reference sake, we just hover our mouse cursor over that region, and now we can see the definition of each of our private fields. Now in our particular case, this is a misnomer. This should actually be public properties. Sorry. Because we use that auto implemented property syntax, but no problem, we changed it up. And so then we can create another region as well. So here, region public methods, right? And we can call this anything we want to, and we can use it for any purpose that we really want to use it for. This is just something that I see often when I look at other people's code, especially those developers that are experienced and they're looking for ways to keep things clean and easily readable. They will use regions all the time, and it's as simple as that. Okay, so I would encourage you as you build your classes to consider, at least as you go through a cleanup, when you need a downtime activity at the end of the day and you need to clean some things up and put some things in order for readability's sake, take this as an opportunity to use regions to roll things up nicely, and then they'll stay that way until you come and open them up. Okay. All right. So that is defining regions. The other thing is implementing interfaces. So in this example that we looked at in the previous video, we made the statement that it's easy to add new classes that implement interfaces, and I never really typed out an interface, right? It's easy to do though. If you want to derive from a given, say, iPrintable, all I need to do then in any class that is going to implement that interface, I just need to go and remember that method header. So I'm going to come over here to the book class, and I got to type in public void print and then type it out. All right. So this is easy when there's only one method to remember, but some interfaces support dozens of methods that you're going to have to implement. I can think of a good case off the top of my head. Whenever you're building web applications and you want to create when you want to override the default functionality for usernames and passwords and how it's all managed in ASP.NET, we'll get to that in a couple of days. One of the ways to do that is through implementing an interface. And so then you've got to go through the unenviable task of implementing each one of the properties. But here's something that makes it simple. Let's add a new type of product. So we're going to add a new class. And let's call this class computers. So now we're selling computers in our application, or in our store as well. And we're going to derive from type iPrintable, right? Or we're going to implement that type. So now see that little blue box underneath the letter I? I'm going to select that drop-down box, and I'm going to say implement the interface iPrintable. And when I do, bam, it adds in a fully implemented method according to whatever was defined in my interface. Same is true here. Let's go iProduct, right? Now I'm going to do the same thing here. Implement interface iProduct, and it adds the get storage location. Whoa, that's pretty neat. Again, with interfaces that only have one method, not so big of a deal, right? But if you have multiples, it's going to be like, what was that called again? Oh, I'm going to have to copy and paste and all that kind of stuff. This is a lot easier. Also, notice that it throws an exception called not implemented exception. Just a reminder to you that, hey, you never wrote the code here that you needed to write to fully implement the print method or the get storage location method for your new class called computer. Okay, so at any rate, that's it. That's how the Visual Studio IDE helps you to organize your code using regions, and then how it also helps you to implement interfaces using that little drop-down box that pops up whenever we hover our mouse cursor over and a declaration that we're implementing an interface. So that's it. I think we have one or two more things to look at, and then we are ready for the homework assignment for today. So we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.